KONDOSAN.
Once upon a time, there lived a mother goat and her 7 kids. They lived in a house in the forest. Mother goat loved her kids and would protect them at any cost. She would try to teach them lessons about her life experiences. And they were so cute. 4 of them were girls and 3 of them were boys. One day, Mother Goat wanted to go to the market to sell the butter that she had made. But she had to leave her kids at home by themselves.
My dear ones, I'm going to the market. Don't you dare open the door to strangers. Please be careful.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom.
When you come, show us your feet. If we believe that they are your feet, we'll open the door.
Mother Goat set off right after kissing all her kids goodbye. Meanwhile, there was a treacherous wolf wandering in the forest, searching for some easy prey. The wolf was hiding behind a tree, patiently waiting for the little goat's mother to leave the house. As soon as she left, he knocked on their door. He wanted to make use of this opportunity.
Who is it?
My dear kids, it's me, your mother. I've brought you some wonderful and delicious fruit. Open the door for me.
Hey, wait. I know this voice. This is the voice of the wolf. Remember what Mom said?
The wolf has a deep voice. Oh, my dears, please be careful and don't make a mistake, or the wolf will eat you all.
As the wolf couldn't get past the door, he knocked on the door to try his chance again. This time, he really thinned his voice to make it sound like their mother's.
My dear goats, I'm stuck outside. Come on, open the door for me. I'm so tired. I've brought you a lot of food. Why are you making your mother wait outside?
This sounds like my mother, but we need to be sure. Mother, please stretch your legs out from under the door. Remember what we discussed? Show us your feet. So the wolf stretched out his feet. Of course, after seeing the dark feet, the goats realized that this was the wolf. Get lost!
Get lost!
Get lost!
You're not our mother. Her feet are white.
Why the snow?
We won't open the door. We won't open the door.
We won't open.
The wolf got furious. He went to the bakery and bought a sack of flour. He came back to the kids' door and covered his feet in flour, making them completely white.
This should work now. I'm going to catch the goats. You little goats. You can't escape from me.
But the wolf had forgotten one thing. The little goats were very clever. Terrified of the wolf constantly hovering outside their door, they came up with a plan.
My sisters and brothers, I have a feeling. I think that this wolf isn't going to give up easily and he's going to try to trick us. If this treacherous wolf comes to our door again, even if we see white feet, we'll peek from under the door. If it's indeed our mother, we'll recognize her smell from even behind the door.
The goats gathered round and whispered the plan to one another. They all had a different task. With joy, the wolf knocked on the door again with his feet snow-white covered in flour. This time he was so sure that he'd be able to trick the goats.
Kids, come on. I'm your mother. Look what I bought you. If you open the door, I have a gift for all of you. Here are my snow-white feet. Look from under the door. Did you see? Did you see my snow-white feet?
When the goats carefully looked at the feet, they realized that they were way too big to be their mothers. Yes, they're white, but they are huge. Kids, this is the wolf again, not our mother. Come on, let's carry out our plan. Okay, Mother. I'm opening the door right away. As they planned, everyone hid in a different place. One of them hid under the blanket, one under the bed, one inside the closet, one inside the oven, and another behind the curtains. And one of them went onto the roof. Her task was up there. Their plan was coming together perfectly. Finally, the little goat, who knew that the time had come, slowly pulled on the string that he attached to the door from inside the old big clock in the living room where he was hiding, and the door opened. "The door's open, Mummy. You can come in now." The wolf that entered the house was shocked to find it empty.
Huh?
He couldn't see a single goat anywhere. Suddenly, he noticed something moving under the blanket. The wolf walked there slowly, holding his hands out. He lifted the blanket.
I've got you, little one. Did you think you could trick me? No one can escape from me. Ah!
The big sister was the one under the blanket. In her hand was a bottle of spicy red pepper. Suddenly, she threw all of it at the wolf's face. And the goat under the bed poured the bottle of oil on the wolf's feet. There was oil everywhere. The wolf's face, mouth, nose and eyes were burning, so he couldn't stand on the slippery floor and fell flat on the ground. Covered all in oil, the wolf rolled over and over towards the door, trying to escape.
Help! Help! I'm burning! I'm burning! Isn't there anyone to help me? My eyes are burning! I can't see anything!
The kid, hiding in the big old clock, poked his head out and with a hoarse voice,
Catch this treacherous wolf and punish him. He should know what it means to try to trick us.
Upon hearing this, all the others started throwing the tomatoes they had stored in the living room from the freezer, and also the marbles they played with, to the wolf that couldn't run on the slippery ground. The goat on top of the roof threw a bucket of cold water over the wolf's head that was hardly able to come out the door. The wolf ran for his life as fast as he could.
I'll never come to this house again. I got burned from the peppers they threw at me. I froze from the cold water, and I'm covered in tomatoes. I'm a frozen tomato. If I had thought for 40 years, I would have never thought that these little goats could trick me. Either I've gotten very old, or these goats are really very clever.
Towards evening, Mother Goat returned from the market. She had bought her little goats a lot of fruit and vegetables so that they could be healthy. Each one of them was fond of a different fruit. The mother did not forget any of them and chose them carefully. When she arrived in front of the door, she noticed the entrance was completely wet. She looked up and there was not a cloud in the sky, and it wasn't raining. She knocked on the door and called out to the little goats.
My little goats, I'm here. Open the door for me. I'm very tired and my hands are full of bags. I also have a surprise for you.
Show us your
Show
feet.
us your feet.
Show us your feet.
Mother Goat stretched her feet under the door. The goats realized that these were their mother's feet right away. Her voice was also their mother's. They opened the door without hesitation. Mother Goat screamed with shock when she entered the house. It was a big mess. Peppers and tomatoes were on the floor, and furniture was scattered all around. Mother Goat was terrified.
My God, what happened to this house? What is this? There are tomatoes and peppers everywhere. Are you okay?
The little goats told their mother what had happened to them one by one. The mother was very sad, but was also very proud of her children. Once again, she realized how clever they were. Later, they all cleaned their house together. They ate their dinner.
My smart little ones, I love you all so much. You did well today. You acted together and you defeated the bad wolf. I'm proud of you. It makes me so happy to be the mother of such clever goats.
She hugged and kissed them one by one, The next day, they all went to the police to complain about the wolf.
Oh.
They told the forest police everything that had happened. The forest police congratulated the little goats for their bravery and cleverness. He even told them that if they wanted, they could become forest police when they grew up. The goats were very happy to hear this. The wolf was caught and sent far away. He was punished to never come back. The 7 little goats lived happily ever after, protecting one another, just like their mother had taught them. Once upon a time, in a very beautiful country, there lived a kind king and queen that everyone loved. Their only wish was to have a daughter. One day, their wish came true, and their daughter came into the world. They organized a feast to celebrate the event. All the kings and queens of other kingdoms, all the townspeople, and the 12 fairies of the country were invited. As part of the celebration, everyone presented their gift to the newborn princess. When it was the fairies' turn, each of them made a wish using their magical wands. There were exactly 12 fairies.
May life bring you everlasting happiness.
Let your beauty be spoken of all across the lands.
Let this princess be a very clever girl.
Let her always be generous to our people.
Suddenly, the entire hall started to shake. As everyone watched in awe, there was a high-pitched sound. The wicked fairy was the 13th fairy. They especially hadn't invited her to the party. Furious, the wicked fairy approached the crib and pushed aside the 12th good fairy that still hadn't made her wish.
So, I'm the only one that wasn't invited, I see. Well, even if I wasn't invited, I also have a wonderful gift for the princess. On her 16th birthday, the princess will prick her finger on a needle and die.
Staring at the wicked fairy, the king and queen begged the good fairy to do something. Please, do whatever it takes to break this curse, good fairy.
Unfortunately, my queen, I cannot remove the curse that the wicked fairy has cast, but I can at least lighten it. When the princess pricks her finger with the needle, she won't die. She will sleep for 100 years. She will only be awakened with the kiss of a prince. That's all I can do.
The king immediately prohibited the use of needles and had them removed from his kingdom. He ordered his guards to watch over the princess until she grew up. The good fairy's wishes had come true. The princess turned out to be a beautiful, well-mannered young girl. In the palace, she could only wander around the garden with the fairies. Her father always watched over her. On the day of her 16th birthday, the princess was locked up in a room to stop the curse from happening. Everyone was very anxious. If nothing happened until sunset, the curse would be lifted. The princess was bored and wanted to open the window to catch some fresh air. Outside, the weather was beautiful. As she opened the window, she saw a raven with a little box in its beak. The bird placed the box on the windowsill and flew away. It was such a beautifully decorated box that the princess couldn't resist her curiosity. She opened the box and saw a glowing diamond ring. She thought it was a birthday gift from the fairies, so she put it on her finger. but a little needle was hidden underneath the diamond. So, when the needle pricked her, the princess fell into her 100-year slumber. The bird that had brought the box to the princess was the raven of the wicked fairy. When they couldn't hear any sound from the princess's room for some time, the king became anxious and went to check on her.
My girl, you haven't said anything. Open the doors so I can see you. Be patient. There's only 2 hours left until sundown and the curse will be broken.
The king couldn't get a reply, so he unlocked the door and entered the room. To his surprise, he found his daughter lying on the floor.
My queen! Guards! Run! My princess has fallen asleep! It's a disaster! A disaster!
When they saw the ring on the princess's finger, the upset king and queen immediately realized what had happened. The wicked fairy had tricked the princess into pricking her own finger, fulfilling the curse.
Good fairy, do something, please. Either awake her or let us all sleep and awake with her. We can start our lives again when she wakes up in 100 years. How can we live without her?
To cast this spell, we have only till sunset. We have little time, but I'll do it. First, let's get the princess into a beautiful bed.
They immediately carried her to her room. They laid her in a bed covered with flowers in her most beautiful gown. The king and queen sat in their thrones. The servants waited where they stood. The birds, cats, and dogs. Everyone was ready. And the good fairy cast her most powerful spell yet.
Let everyone in the palace fall asleep along with the princess and awake with her.
With a wave of her hand, everyone in the palace fell asleep. The palace was to be known as the Palace of Sleeping Beauty from then on. As years passed, the palace was covered with thorns and vines. No one could enter anymore. Many years passed. One day, as the prince was wandering around with his soldiers, he noticed the palace covered in vines.
There it is. This must be Sleeping Beauty's castle, the one my mum always told me about when I was younger. Look, it is completely covered with vines.
He took out his sword at once and started cutting down the vines. He fought his way through and made it to the door of the castle. When he entered, he was speechless by what he saw. The king and queen in their thrones and the people of the palace all sleeping in some place. They were all lying still. He started wandering through all the rooms of the palace, trying to find the princess.
I'm going to find you, beautiful princess. I'll save you. I will lift the curse.
The prince was frantic, running around trying to find the princess's room. Finally, he came across a magnificent door in the tower. He opened it slowly and found the incredibly beautiful princess asleep on a bed of flowers.
My goodness, how beautiful she is. It's as if she fell asleep yesterday. Her flowers still smell wonderful.
The prince couldn't bear to see the princess sleeping like an angel, so he gave her a kiss on the cheek. At that moment, the princess woke up. When she saw the handsome prince standing before her, she asked,
What happened? Am I still dreaming?
No, my princess, you aren't dreaming any longer. The curse has been broken. Please, give me your hand. Let me help you get up from this bed.
The princess gave her hand to the prince and got up. When the curse was broken, everyone woke up from their sleep. The king, queen, servants, cats, dogs, and flowers in the garden all came to life again. There was nothing left of the vines and thorns. The king and queen ran to their daughter's room in excitement.
Good heavens, what a beautiful day! I'm so happy. My daughter and the whole palace have awoken from their sleep.
They hugged joyfully. The prince promptly kneeled before the king.
My king, I would like to marry your daughter. With your permission, may I ask for a hand in marriage?
My dear prince, we are so very happy. I would be honored if you were my groom.
My dear princess, I've waited for this moment my whole life. Will you marry me?
Yes! You are the prince I have seen in my dreams.
They invited all the fairies and got married with a magnificent wedding. They lived happily ever after. And what happened to the wicked fairy? After she found out what was going to happen to her, she escaped to a faraway land.
Hey guys! Subscribe to our channel KONDOSAN and watch the most popular fairy tales, cartoons, and nursery rhymes. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications.